welcome back everyone, Toy Shiz here, and today we have an early look, courtesy of my friends over at Mattel, of their upcoming He-Man and the Masters of the Universe 2000X series, Wave 1. Beastman, Tri-Klops, Stratos, and He-Man will all be hitting store shelves relatively soon. Pre-orders are available now, so I'll put links down in the description below, but you gotta see first if you even want these. First and foremost, what's any He-Man toy line without He-Man himself? It's the usual He-Man cartoon classics, He-Man Origins packaging. You get to see each character front and center right there in the crystal clear bubble, and the packaging has gorgeous artwork with all the details on how to use the figure and yada yada, but that's always a nice touch with the He-Man figures. The artwork really makes the packaging. He-Man, Stratos, and Tri-Klops make up Wave 1, and of course here is the barcode for when these start to hit store shelves. Next up, of course, we need another hero in the group, and we have Stratos, the Winged Warrior. He's basically bird person, if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, but he looks great. Great colors going on. Fantastic artwork. It's the same with how the figure works and what characters are in the wave, but I like that you kind of give you some insight that he comes from the episode specifically of Sky War. I like when companies really pay attention to cartoons and whatnot. And then on the evil side, we have the evil but sees everything Tri-Klops. Two very distinct traits that they got to put right on the box for old Tri-Klops. He's got that whole side-eye thing going on in the packaging. The usual, you got some fantastic artwork going on, as seen in the episode Robato's Gambit. And I'm sure with all the other He-Man origin figures over the years, if you see a character in the art on the packaging, I'm sure it's inevitable that you will get him eventually. Here's the barcode for old Tri-Klops. And then, to round out the first wave, we have the deluxe-sized ultimate henchman, the Beastman. And he's got the oversized box that we've been seeing with Turtles of Grayskull and everything else, but you can see him front and center. He's got a great cartoonified head portrait. Fantastic artwork, as usual, as seen on the episode Night of the Shadow Beast. Perhaps we'll see some Shadow Beasts eventually. And he seems to have a wave mate for the deluxe series in the form of Ram Man. Now, we don't have Ram Man in hand for this video, but keep an eye on my socials, and I'll give you updated details on where and when you can grab old Ram Man. Here's the barcode for the deluxe Beastman. So, this is going to be an absolute blast, so sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the entire first wave of the upcoming He-Man and the Masters of the Universe 2000X series, the deluxe-sized Beastman, Tri-Klops, Stratos, or Stratos, whatever you want to call him, doesn't really matter to me, but you'll tell me down in the comments, and of course, He-Man by Mattel. And right before we get started, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who continues to tune into my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. We'd love to have you. Why? We have old toys, new toys, daily news updates. Guarantee you'll find something here that you'll like. And with that being said, here are all 4 characters taken out of their respective packaging. Each character has some accessories. It's got some wild paint. They have new body types as opposed to the previous He-Man Origins cartoon classics. A lot less stocky and whatnot. So I like the updated look. I like that you can extend He-Man's legs and arms, and he's like straight up and down this time. That's cool, as opposed to being like short and squatty. But I definitely dig it. I think a lot of people out there have been kind of clamoring for something like this. I'll tell you honestly, this is my favorite character out of the wave, just because, one, it's He-Man, and it's a really well done, cool looking character. Now, the head portrait is going to be very cartoonified, but I feel that it does fit with the 2000X series. He has quite a lot of blonde hair going on. The arms, the legs, the waist, everything that you know and love from the He-Man Origins and Cartoon Classics line is represented here in the articulation. So it's just a different sort of mold and sculpt, but it's the exact same articulation scheme. Knees, boot cuff, feet, peg holes on the bottom, you name it, this figure's got it. But one cool aspect that I do enjoy is that if you look at the wrists, on one hand, it's the usual wrist, and then on the sword-holding hand, you can actually pivot the wrist up and down, so you can do that classic holding the sword above his head and calling forth the power. And speaking of the power sword, there you go. That's straight from 2000X. It's just all silver. There's no paint, unfortunately. A little paint accents would have been a nice touch, but he does hold it well, and with the articulation, with the look, with the attention to detail to the cartoon, yeah, I would say that they definitely nailed it. And plus, you can hold the sword with both hands, which again is a nice touch. So through and through, yes, articulation, paint, the look, the attention to detail, it's all there. But the one thing that I absolutely love, and it's not with every He-Man figure until kind of recently, is that, yeah, you can do that over the head holding the sword. The one downside is that he can't really look up. And that to me kind of goes, ah, man, that's one missed detail. It's because of his hair in the back. But if anything, if that's the one nitpick, so be it. But it's a pretty cool He-Man. Next up is Stratos. Now, they're all going to kind of share the same body types for the most part. They'll be swapped out parts and pieces. Maybe some characters are taller than the others. But Stratos definitely has some cool armor flying pieces going on all over him. Now, mine kind of came warped in the packaging. It's a simple fix. You just pour some hot water, not too hot, on it, and it should reform back to normal. But just to kind of show you, but it's really easy peasy to fix. Now, his accessories come in the form of his wings, which you pop the hands off, slip on the gauntlets, and then you got the wings going on with articulation and really nice paint. Plus, he's got the controls to then move around and articulate those wings, right? Make believe, all that jazz. But I like that you can get the wings outstretched, put them behind him, put them forward, backward, you name it. But wouldn't you know it, the one thing that I would say overall is that you can't get him looking up. And that, for a flying character, is kind of a bummer because you'd expect him to be able to put him in a flying position, and then he only kind of looks down, unfortunately. So a little bit more in the head going forward, Mattel, for both He-Man and Stratos would be very cool. But like I said, with the accessories, with the wings span, he just looks very cool. He's a very large type figure in that sense. But if you give him a flight stand, minus the ability to look up, you can get him soaring through the air of Eternia. So yes, through and through, with all the articulation, largely matching He-Man. Nothing's really different. He's got a couple claws here and there on his toenails and his hands. But yes, largely the same body type, same exact articulation, more articulation with the wings. But yeah, let's just improve upon that head articulation looking up, and I would say you got another cool figure on your hands. Now, next up on the bad guy side, we have Tri-Klops, and he's one of my favorites from the whole baddies of Skeletor. He even has his little eye knee pads going on. That's a nice touch. That's from the 2000X series. He's got a little bit of a samurai look in some sense. It's a little subtle wink and a nod, but I definitely get what they're going for here. He comes with a sword that most of the Tri-Klops figures that I have in my collection all come with that sort of sword. Now, you get plenty of head articulation with this guy, including his little visor, which you flip, and you get various eye colors from yellow to green to blue. Now, with the weapons, with the accessories, with his articulation and his little eyeballs that go every which way, yeah, this definitely makes for a cool-looking Tri-Klops. Although, if I'm being honest, he's more on the lackluster side for Wave 1. He's just kind of there, if anything. But with the colors, you got oranges, you got yellows, you got the flesh tone and everything else. Sure, he's a fine-looking Tri-Klops. But if you were wondering, yes, all of the figures do have the usual pop-off parts, from the arms to the head, and then, of course, the waist. But much like all the He-Man origins, the legs stay largely intact, so those won't be moving. But what's really cool is that you could still do that and make your own figure and then put them back together. So easy as pie, simple as that. Again, not my favorite of the wave, we'll just say. He's just kind of, oh yeah, there's Tri-Klops. But yeah, he's a baddie of Skeletor, and you definitely need him for your collection. And then to round it out, the very deluxeified Beastman. He's got one of the best head portraits in all of Wave 1. He's just having fun. He's got the teeth, he's got the eyes. He has that very cartoony expression, and I think that's what really does a great job of bringing him to life, along with his big old wild whip and whip. It's all solid black piece. There's no other paint, there's nothing on it, but you get it. It's not going to be a bendy wire or anything like that, but it does have some details for the handle. But Beastman, as a deluxe figure, I would expect them to go a little bit more into the paints, the look, the armor, everything else. And yes, they have definitely achieved that. You can pop certain parts and pieces off, and certain parts and pieces will become kind of cumbersome when you start moving him around. Go very easy with the arms at first. They were a little bit stuck. It's kind of one of those things where you have to move it out to move it up, that kind of deal, because it'll get caught not only on his big old beastie mane, but some of the shoulders as well. He's got his loincloth, which thankfully he does have something on underneath. You have knees, knee pads, which move with the character. But in just standing there with his mouth all agape, yeah, that looks pretty darn cool. And I have to say, with the articulation, bringing this character to life on your shelf, if you know what He-Man Origins feels like in terms of the plastic and the figures, yeah, that's basically what you're getting here with the 2000X series. And yes, potentially you could swap out with other bigger type deluxe figures once they come out. Like I said, when you do that, you're going to have to move the armor pieces around constantly. But yes, you can pop them at the waist as well. So like I said, forthcoming deluxe figures, bigger type figures, you could potentially make your own cool Frankenstein He-Man Origins 2000X figures. But yes, in terms of a deluxe figure, I feel like Beastman definitely brings the beast modes. If you were wondering, how do these new 2000X series figures square up next to Masterverse or He-Man Origins? Well, they're going to be, of course, shorter than the 7-inch scaled Masterverse, but with 2000X, he'll be a smidge taller than the He-Man Origins figures. Not by much, mind you, but you can still utilize all of the vehicles and the castle and Battle Cat and whatnot to show him next to, we'll say, the 7-inch McFarlane Toys and the 6-inch scaled Marvel Legends. He's just below the Marvel Legends scale, so more of that shorter end, almost 6-inch. When it comes to NECA Toys' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Hasbro's Transformers, you can see the scale once again. He'll kind of fit with NECA Toys, but entirely too tall for the Transformers. So that's going to wrap it up for my quick look at the very first wave of the upcoming He-Man and the Masters of the Universe 2000X series. I want to say thank you again to Mattel for sending these out for the purposes of this video. I would say that if you are a He-Man fan, specifically the 2000X series, you're probably going to like these. And I remember these being quite the talk of San Diego Comic-Con 2025 when these were revealed, which I like that they really paid attention to the cartoon looks. It's not like when Hasbro takes a more realistic approach to some of their Star Wars and their Marvels and everything else. This is the cartoon. And this will definitely be on the lower end price point. If you're more of a Mondo fan with what they're doing with 2000X, that might be right up your alley as well. But for those of you who just want to go to the store and grab some He-Man figures, look no further. Again, I'll put links down in the description below if you want to order anything. And until the next one, I will leave you guys with that. Adios.